Okay, before I get into the topic for today, I want to give a disclaimer. I stutter really bad, and this video is super hard to make. Also, I do not have anything memorized, so I'm reading everything off my notes. That said, let's get serious. Although the exact amount is unknown, there are approximately 500,000 films in existence. It's hard to get an exact number on that because many of these films have been lost or destroyed over the course of time, and of course, new films are released every single day, all over the world. According to Letterboxd.com, the year 2020 saw the release of 22,225 movies. Now, depending on the regularity of movies that you watch, you've probably seen between 500 and 2,000 movies in your entire life. At the time of this recording, I'm only 21 years old, and I've seen 1,026 movies that I can remember in my lifetime, and I've logged them all in Letterboxd because that's how I love to spend my time. But what that means, the implication of that, is that there are 499,999 movies that I've never seen. That's an approximate number again. But that number is only growing. New movies are being released all the time. As I said, there was a time when someone technically could have watched every single movie that had ever been made. But that time was brief and is now long gone. And it will never come again. But all these numbers made me wonder, is there a film out there that no one has ever seen? Is there a film that's just been swept under the rug? You're waiting in the darkness? Is there a film that is available, just sitting there, but no one has ever watched it? This was a pretty unique challenge and I didn't know where to start. The sites I use for browsing movies normally are Letterboxd and IMDb. However, the problem was neither of these sites had an option to browse for least popular films. I thought the best place to start would be finding a film with no interaction, no ratings, and no reviews. It was like finding a needle in a digital haystack, so I gave myself a few guidelines to help narrow my search. The ideal film would be longer than 60 minutes. Not porn, had to have actually been released to the public in English or have subtitles because that's the language I speak and can't understand anything else. And I decided to only look at films that had been released post-2010. This was to help narrow the search down enough that I could find something, and these films would have a trail on the internet, something I could trace, whereas something released in, say, the 50s, I'd have no way of knowing how many people had watched it. So with these guidelines, I went to Letterboxd and sorted films post-2010 alphabetically. That's right, alphabetically. So I just kind of went through and clicked on films until I found something that didn't have any ratings, and I did. It was called 15 Years of Mysteryland, which was a film made in 2010. It's a documentary about a festival in the Netherlands. The film didn't have any ratings on Letterboxd, IMDb, or TMDb. However, after researching places I could watch it, I found a website for DVD collectors where I discovered that 32 people owned the DVD and 5 people had given it ratings on that website. But while I was on TMDb, the movie database, which is the website that provides Letterboxd with its films, I discovered that website had much better search filters. On that website, you can sort films by length, release year, and from least to most popular. So, after sifting through recorded piano recitals and airplane shows, I found a list of films that seemed promising. Here's what happened with some of the more interesting ones. Her Happy Place is a 2020 film directed by Nakia T. Hamilton. It looks just delightful, so I may watch it at some point, but I found it on Vudu with some ratings there. Give Me Another Year is a 2012 film directed by Curtis Burrs, which turned out to be just an English title for a German film that had a wider release in Germany. Gib mich noch ein Jahr. Same time next year looked very intriguing to me as it was a comedy. Comedy thrives on the energy the audience gives to it, so a comedy no one had seen was very intriguing to me. However, it turned out to be a stage production that was filmed due to COVID-19, so not really a movie. There was a film called An Amityville Poltergeist, which apparently released in December of 2020, and I was pretty excited because I couldn't find any information about the film anywhere, where to watch it or anything, so I ended up contacting the director, Calvin McCarthy, about where I could watch it. That's when he confirmed to me that it had not been released yet. Tough luck for me, but it looks like a wild ride, so I'll be sure to check it out when it does release. October is a 2020 film directed by Jordan Ross, or Jordan Rose. I'm sorry, Jordan, I don't totally know how to pronounce it, but it was released on YouTube, and I actually did watch this movie. It's about a man who brings home a pumpkin from a pumpkin patch, and the pumpkin starts talking to him, and then it all sort of goes downhill from there. Because where else to go when your pumpkin starts talking to you but down a deep, steep hill? It's very campy, but it has fantastic Halloween vibes, so I think I'll definitely have to watch it again this coming Halloween. However, by the time I got to it, it had over 350 views on YouTube, so I knew I could get more obscure than that. But that's when I made a discovery. It was a film that was released to YouTube the day that I found it, so no one had watched it. The film is called Foil, directed, produced, and written by Elijah One Butler. It was released on January 17th, 2020. Foil hurt my eyes and my ears. On a budget of $30, it's an incredibly creative avant-garde film that was made by Elijah One and seemingly completely by himself. He plays 5 different characters who all share a personal connection to aluminum foil. Throughout the film, you will see all 5 lose their sanity. The most striking and dominant character is the man in the car named Connor Peterson, or Road Prophet, a true wildcard. He seems to be modeled after Alex Jones, and he keeps calling himself a patriot. He has a dominating personality and takes up most of the runtime and interest of the film. The character most intriguing to me was the man making videos for his son, Corey Sutherland, because you could see him go from mostly sane to completely unhinged. His character in the beginning felt the most real. I really enjoyed the performance. David Wilson and Franklin Carson, the puppeteer and the man with the cat face, were probably the hardest to read, and had no clear arc, to me at least, other than an escalation of their separate activities. The 5th character is Jim Hampton III, a man who worships foil and believes it has magical powers. He spends his time praying to it, as well as making advertisements for his foil church. They all seem to use foil in different ways. Road Prophet uses it as armor, thinking it will keep him safe from conspiracies. Corey Sutherland uses foil to block government surveillance to his brain. Jim Hampton III uses foil as a religious item. David Wilson sees foil as his friend. Franklin Carson uses foil as a delivery method for his drugs, still probably the most sensible usage out of any character. They all end up in the same place, and I'm still not totally sure what it means. It seems to be a satire of people who wear tinfoil hats, or whether that person is religious, patriotic, or paranoid. What I think Elijah One is trying to say with foil is maybe all those things are crazy, and aren't as disconnected as one might think. I'd recommend the film, and I'll provide a link in the description. However, I do think that the usage of this film was cheating in some respect. I watched it immediately after it came out, and in the days since then, it has gained more views. The film never lived in an unwatched state, so I continued my search for the completely unwatched film. And that's when things get darker and even more mysterious. Back when I was browsing films on TMDb, there was one in particular that caught my eye. It was an entry for a film called 86D, possibly 86th. According to TMDb, it was released on September 16th, 2020. It's a horror film and has a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes and has a budget of $1,000. The poster features a crudely drawn smiley face and title, as well as a tagline that reads, "It's more than you can explain," with a grammatical error of then with an E rather than with an A. The description reads,
"A kid finds a tape and plays it. He watches it and sees a girl being killed. The kid kills himself, and 2 days later, the detective finds the body and has to find out what happened to the tape, and what's happened in the last few months."
There's hardly any more information about it, although there is an alternative poster with the title 8DC rather than 86D. I scoured the internet for more information about the film, but because there were some other films and projects with the same title, I came up empty-handed. It looked like TMDb and Letterboxd were the only places the film existed. Judging from the amateur posters, spelling errors, and weirdly worded description, I thought maybe the film was just made by somebody messing around, and I doubted its existence. But there was still one crucial piece of information about the film on TMDb: the username of the person who uploaded it. Fenuguu. There was no director, cast, or crew, so I assumed Fenuguu was responsible for making the film. When I went to Fenuguu's profile, it looked like 86D was the only film they had contributed to. So, I contacted Fenuguu asking if the film did exist, and respectfully, if I'd be able to watch it. I left them with my email and awaited a response. It felt like shooting an arrow into the void, but it was my only chance of finding 86D. Anyone that makes a 2-hour-long horror film that no one's ever seen has my curiosity, and I was really worried they wouldn't respond. But lo and behold, a couple hours later I got an email from Fenuguu, but it wasn't at all what I was expecting. Here's what that email said.
I'm pretty sure this is a real film. I don't have footage. I'm trying to find this film too, so at least people are interested in the search for 86D. There are 2 posters for this for some reason. I was sent a message on a website asking for me to put on there. I was sent a 1-minute trailer, but I can't find it anywhere at all. I was also sent 2 posters, which are the ones on the website on TVB. I have a suspect in what film this actually is. Anyways, thanks for contacting me. Puddles of love. Fenuguu.
So it turned out Fenuguu was not the person who made 86D. They were asked by somebody to put it on the website. But there was a 1-minute trailer, meaning there was footage for the film. Fenuguu saw it. It exists. Anyway, I asked Fenuguu to give me any more details they could remember. I found foil with just a title and a name, so I was pretty certain I could find something with just a little more information. This was their following email.
I remember watching the trailer. It was pretty gory, and I remember text saying, "He's forgotten" on it. That's all I remember. The person who asked me is gone, as it was at an event on Omegle where we met up. He sent me everything, and I downloaded the video he sent. My computer crashed 1 hour later, and I had to restart my computer, and it wasn't there anymore.
So not only did Fenuguu not make 86D, they got the information from a complete stranger on Omegle. That's like the internet equivalent of someone walking up to you on the street and handing you a flash drive saying, "Here's my movie, put it on a website for me, please." I don't think I've ever wanted to watch a film more. Though I do wonder, did Fenuguu's computer crash because the downloaded video had a virus? I don't know. It's definitely strange. The film has left no other trace. And who is this mystery man who asked someone on Omegle to put the film on a website for them? It's almost as if this person prefers 86D to remain unseen, to remain anonymously created. While I will keep searching for 86D, it's likely the film will never be seen. Apart from 86D, the films I found were obscure but not completely unwatched. But that's a good thing. A movie only works when people see it. That's how they live. It's an intimate connection between the filmmaker and you, the audience. The common thread in all these films is that they were made from the heart. They're not fast food from some chain restaurant. They were grown in a home garden and lovingly prepared with an original recipe and fresh ingredients. A meal shared between friends. And when you think about it, those are the only meals that really matter. It's not just about the food, just like it's not just about the movie. It's about sitting across from somebody and listening to their stories. There may be films out there that are still unwatched. In fact, I'm sure there are. But if you find one, don't let it stay that way. Watch it. It's waiting to be seen and heard.